Okay, doctorarjaybe here, and I wanted to talk about probiotics. Now, when most people talk about probiotics, they're talking about either one or two things. Either they're talking about some pill that they're going to take, or sometimes they might be talking about, maybe eating yogurt, let's just say as a probiotic. The thing with probiotics, and this occurs with yogurt too, is if you take yogurt, but that's all you're taking, it's going to go right through you. Because bacteria don't stay in our system. Every day we get rid of a whole bunch of bacteria. These are our bowel movements. The waste that we pass is 90% bacteria by weight. So what we're passing, when we go to the bathroom in the morning, is a dump that's filled with bacteria. There's a little bit of liquid, but a lot of bacteria, and that's why it's a formed stool. The bacteria basically pass out of our body. They're growing all the time, so we lose some, but we retain some. Now, if you just take in yogurt, but nothing for the yogurt to grow on, those bacteria are just going to pass through. They can't grow. They don't have any food to eat. Yogurt are growing on a milk substance. So if you're not taking in large quantities of milk, those bacteria are going to go right through you. Now, babies basically have a natural lactobacillus bacteria colony from drinking milk. Before the baby switches over to solid food, it has mostly what we call lactobacillus, which break down the milk products. It's a very healthy bacteria for them, but anybody who has had a baby knows that their stool is either green or yellow. And that's because, they have these funny bacteria that are in there that basically they kind of chew up all the nutrition in that milk. There's not a lot left. So all you see is a little bit of the color from the bile that's in the body, which is green or yellow in color. As a matter of fact, if you've had a really bad diarrhea, you might notice that green color too. But any event, probiotics are only going to stay around if you give them the right food. So they got a term that's called prebiotic. The prebiotics are the food source for the probiotics. Now, prebiotics may be things like fruits and vegetables, something along this line that the bacteria can grow in. The thing that our gut bacteria like the most is food fiber. They love fiber. The fibers are what's left of our food, basically, as it passes through. And the bacteria that are in our gut, they grow on this fiber by breaking it down and getting their energy from it. It's kind of like a cow eating grass and then fermenting it and getting energy from it. So our bacteria kind of do the same job. They also then provide us with vitamins and some of the minerals, etc., because when they break the food down, that last little bit, they also release certain certain vitamins, and they're able to split some of the bonds that hold on to the minerals. So they give us food, basically, is the whole idea. Now, what happens if you don't feed them? Well, then they eat you, actually. One of the fibers that we have naturally in the body is mucus. There's a chemical called mucus that coats our intestine, and it's a long chain of type molecule, and that's basically what fiber is. Fiber is a long chain of a molecule which is hard for us to digest. So that mucus layer that we have in our intestine, which is kind of a lubricant, by the way, these bacteria can eat. So you decide you're going to go on a diet that has no fiber in it. Oh, what do we call that? We call that the keto diet, don't we? Yeah, the keto diet. So the keto diet doesn't have any fiber in it. So what are the bacteria going to eat? You know, you got one choice. You're going to eat the mucus. Now, one thing that probably also happens when you're on the keto diet is you probably change your bacteria. You change from plant-liking bacteria to meat and fat-liking bacteria. And those bacteria, they're not the nicest bacteria. I may have mentioned this before, but you know, bacteria that can break down meat and fats can break down us because we're made of meat and fats. So those are not the bacteria that we want all the time. We'd much rather have some of the fruits and vegetable fiber bacteria, because those are the ones that are great for us because we're not plants. So they're not going to eat us because we're not plants. So we want to encourage those good bacteria. Now, there are a bunch of foods that are fermented in our life. And I think I may have mentioned this in a previous video. Chocolates is fermented. The cocoa beans are fermented to give them flavor. Coffee, the coffee beans are fermented to give them flavor. Olives. Supposedly, if you take an olive off the olive tree, it's so bitter you wouldn't want to eat it. So they ferment it and it becomes an olive. Pickles. Cucumbers are taken, they're drenched in brine, they start fermenting and they become a pickle. A lot of the pepper sauces, like cayenne pepper sauce, are made by fermentation. They take the peppers, put it into a barrel with some salt water. The peppers start fermenting, release all kinds of carbon dioxide gas, and what's left is this slurry of pepper that's been broken down. That bacteria, and that's called pepper sauce. So, you know, cayenne pepper sauce or whatever, you know, that's basically a fermented product. Bread, of course, is fermented. It's got yeast. Wine is fermented. So these are all things that are edible to us, but I guarantee you that you're not going to eat spoiled meat. You know, I mean, you're going to get sick trying to eat spoiled meat because the bacteria that grow on those are dangerous for us. You know, but like I said, you want some spoiled grapes? We call it wine. You know, we drink it all the time. You know, ferment some beer, ferment some grain, we'll call it beer, or we'll drink that too. You know, we do all kinds of stupid things. We can make bread from it. Okay, so all these things are fermenting bacteria, fairly safe for us. And those are the real probiotics that you really should try to encourage by eating a lot of fruits and vegetables and grains in your diets, so that the good bacteria have food to grow on. Instead of taking a pill that's going to go right through you, take the foods that these bacteria grow on. You will encourage their growth. Don't worry, they will grow. You know, so you could just encourage the good stuff and get rid of the bad stuff by doing it that way. Okay, take care.